don't know if I'm going to post this one. This one might just be for the private collection, really. You know, my own diary and my own thoughts. But I don't know. It's been a funny few days, man. Like, my anxiety and stuff has been through the roof, going up and down, up and down. Sometimes my chest feels so tight. Do you know what I mean? I just want to curl into a ball and lie there and just wait for it to dissipate. You know? And it's been funny because I swear, like, when I've been really feeling low, like really, not just inadequate, but inactive. Do you know what I mean? Like, not inactive. That implies a kind of inertia, but it's not that. Like, you kind of hobbled yourself. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of it has been, I've put, like, as soon as I got this solo exhibition, after the initial kind of like, yeah, you know, of course, because I've always wanted to do that, even if it's a, you know, it's not like in a massive place or whatever, but I'm intensely proud of it. And then I started piling on so much pressure, more and more and more pressure onto myself, because I was so worried about it being good, and I want it to be good because it's really important to me. Not because it's just me, but because I think when you're talking about other people, their histories, their stories, their backgrounds, then, you know, for me anyway, the pressure feels like it's double, because you have to do justice to those people and where they come from and the place and the environment. Do you know what I mean? You want to be, what's the word? Not respectable, but authentic about what you feel about it, about what you've seen, and you know, I just don't want to put forward any rubbish. And I mean, whether it's the case or not, I mean, that's going to be subjective on the part of the viewer, so there's really fuck all I can do about that other than living up to what I think I've done right or correctly, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a lesson I've got to learn. So it's really been yo-yoing, and I've been doing some stupid amount of hours as well, and trying to do it around, you know, my other job and the kid and family, you know, husband, everything else, and then, you know, there's just been no breaks. So I did exactly what I was trying not to do, and worked, you know, started making myself ill. Just not putting the brakes in, not doing exercise really, you know, other than like, because I walk everywhere or whatever. Other than that, not so much. Bit of yoga, which levels me out, but not that sufficient to break the kind of stress, kind of, what is it, you know, like chemical hormones that your body releases. So, you know, that wasn't enough, and I was just making myself really upset, and then it's affecting sleep and everything else. But then at work we had this like talk. This guy gave this talk, and he was talking about, he was so, I don't think I've ever been to a talk on mental health where someone has been like so explicit about their own experience. He was talking about been having like panic attacks and stuff like the last, I think it was like 30 or 40 years in his career, how it held him back, how he's got over it. And he gave these like bouncing balls out to show, like, you know, he always carries one in his pocket because he knows he's going to bounce back, because every day he thinks, this is going to day when I fuck it up. Do you know what I mean? And I guess that's one thing that's like, you know, that I terrified myself to the point of like basically, you know, incapacitating myself. This idea of like, when I put this extra up, that's going to be the day, the week that I could fuck up. That's going to be the day, the week that everyone's going to be like, nah, this is shit. What the fuck is this? Or I haven't done it at all, or the work's not ready, so you don't even get to show it because, you know, you fucked up the entire time since over like 5 months. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a legend of fuck ups, do you know what I mean, on your own part, and you're completely responsible for it, and there's nothing else you can say about it. It's just all on you. And that was that. I put that so much on myself. I incapacitated myself, and this guy gave me this bouncy ball, which I'm so pissed off about because it fell out of my bag on the train, so I lost it. And the same day I got it, but I'm going to buy another one, because I thought that's exactly what I need to remember. That is what's going to happen to me. I am going to bounce back. And then at the same time, like, what was it, yesterday on my way to work, my train was cancelled, went into Victoria, and I hit every fucking rebellion, outpost in the West End. But I just chilled out and I walked it, and I took some photos of it, and I want to go back and I want to talk to people. I understand what's happening, like what they're saying. Because people say things, but to me, I need to go on the website, I need to have a look at it, but the message all seems a bit fractured. I don't really get people occupied in like graffiti and stuff. I understand the rebellion thing, but the and rebelling against the government, all this kind of stuff. But when you're blocking trains and buses and stations, are you rebelling against the government? Because what it feels is like quite a personal attack on the public. So how much of the public are you representing? How much do you want to engage with them? Like, how much is it? What were the other opportunities to be able to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, I heard about the kids that protesting outside their school, and it's just like, I think that's fantastic. I mean, I always appreciate people protesting and want to believe in, but I think you also need cohesive messages or messaging. And I don't really understand what's going on about it. When you read the posters about why they're rebelling and stuff, which I've took some photos of, it's not really coherent to me what the outcome is other than anger. Because it's like, to me, it's like, right, okay, how are you going to do this? How are you going to know it? Like, what are the steps put forward? How practically can you bring that into your home, that the average person can bring this in practically in, and I hate to say it, but easily, because that's the first step into getting something, because you've got to invest in something. It's like finding a new sport or something. A lot of people, you fall in love with something because you enjoy it. You find it fun because then, you invest in it, and you connect with it. So how do you make that happen? How do you make those connections with people? And when you're stopping people from getting to work and stuff, which has knock-on effects on things to like, whether people have dependents, childcare, all that kind of stuff, it's like, well, if you're costing people time and money, but yet you're saying you want to make connections, is that working? Is that the best way to do it? But this is why I need to go into the website. I need to find out more about what's going on, but also to go down there and talk to people. I think some of these things always come across as being quite fractured, because then, the media are like interviewing people are not being funny, but they're not the best responses I've had. Do you know what I mean? So, because, what was it, on LBC, and the guy's interviewing this woman, and he's like, oh, do you realise that 6% of emissions come from the US and Russia? She's like, yes, but, we've got to say something. And he's like, well, should you be doing that in a different country because we've got the gold standard of emissions? And personally, I don't agree with that. I think you should always do more. This isn't about who's done the best or like whatever. That's not enough in terms of if you're going to offset the things that are happening with the planet. And that's going from, this isn't a pissing contest, you know what I mean? Or countries throwing their metaphorical dicks around. This is about like, how are you gonna approach this crisis within the next 20 years to get seriously to try and turn things around? Do you know what I mean? So how are you going to do that? But then, as the guy's like interviewing her, she's like, oh, we just need to be heard, and he's like, yeah, but to say what? And she didn't have a response. It's like, how do you not have a response to that? Don't even talk to the journalist if once you're given a platform to be heard, you don't have anything to say. Because it just totally goes against what you're trying to do. I'm sure you do have a cohesive argument, but you haven't put it across in any way when someone's giving you the opportunity to be heard. So, but I want to hear what you have to say. So it's like, go down there and, because I think, these things are going to be happening more and more, especially if it has the impact, serious impact on different places, man. And just, we were talking about it in the pub one time, and, these are, the displaced populations, if these, when you look at the modelling and stuff for like climate change and different things, and it's freaking scary. It's, but being scared and being angry, that's the emotion, and I get it. But to me, I want to hear what the resolutions are, what are the opportunities, right? What can we do? You know what I mean? Like, be solution focused. Like, what can you do? How can you like have them tripping off your fucking tongue? Like, this is what you can do in your home. This is what the average member of the public can do. This is what we want to see from governments. This is what you should be lobbying for your MPs for. This is what you should be, saying. These are the kind of things, like whether you change utilities companies. These are the top 10 like green companies to go for. This is, I mean, have you heard, are you considering like ethical banking if your bank's then investing in like, things that are, that aren't environmentally friendly, blah blah blah, like all the different kind of things that you can do. I mean, I would say, when you look at the WWF website, the pledging and stuff, they're like, it's different things that you can do to do it. Yeah, I still think there needs to be, say, closer to home, and they say staycations, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, could be the thing that the average person does agree to, like, just think, oh, right, rather than holidaying abroad, I holiday at home. But it's very different if your family members are based in other countries, you know what I mean? So many families are, are biracial, or whatever, by ethnic, so many different cultures as well. I go back to Barbados. I'm going there because my family's there. You're asking me to not see my family that I probably haven't seen maybe minimum 1 year, 2 years. So it's like, you know, what are you asking? How do you do that? But how then do you offset that? You know, you connect more. I personally found that I connect more with other countries in the world through traveling, through seeing them. I get greater empathy, I get greater understanding through seeing what it is. And, you know, getting on a plane is the way I managed to get there, because there isn't any other way to get to the fucking Amazon other by plane in some ways, and I can't afford to take 2 years out to go by boat. Do you know what I mean? So it's offsetting these things, and it's like different ways of doing it. Okay, so like offsetting carbon emissions, offsetting whatever it is, but it's, you know, so like, you know, another one of their places was like re-establishing nature in your environment. Okay, great. I mean, like, where are all these things? You know what I mean? Like, I only saw one thing for like non-violent action. It's just not cohesive messaging. It's like, be angry, but you know what I mean? If I want to see someone have a rant, I can go down to fucking Wetherspoons on a Friday night and see that. It's, you know, it's piss easy to have a rant, she says as she's ranting. Do you know what I mean? I agree. I just mark right there the hypocrisy. But just give me something then to eat, to feed on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get you're frustrated. God knows I'm frustrated with a lot of things, especially when it comes to these kind of issues. But give me ways in which I can go away and be fully invested in doing it. Do you know what I mean? But again, that's something that I want to go and I want to talk to these people and see what the people are doing and saying and what the cohesive messages is. Because it took me 3 hours to get to work yesterday. Why? Tell me why. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough to say that you're angry. Whatever. I want to hear like the strategies for approaching the problems that we're currently not just living but are forecast to happen. So have a look at the website as well, see what that says. I've got to get in touch. There's something about going down there and see what she says. She's doing some work around it. So I just want to learn more. But you know, it's funny when I'm completely jumping from one thing to another here, but when you have like an impression of yourself and then other people's impressions, like when I was talking to my mum, it was a while ago actually, and she was saying that I was fiercely independent, and out of all of us I'd taken the least out of kids, and I was just sitting there going, Christ, I always thought I was, you know, my parents were intensely generous and gave me a lot and supported me so much, so I'd never think that I'm intensely independent anyway. I just think I make do with what I have and I try and do the best and, you know, making something out of nothing, just, it's a fucking principle of life. It's just the situation. It's not a philosophy or, you know, a practice that I would always choose to carry through. Like, you know what I mean? If money was to start falling out of the trees, I wouldn't have an issue with it. Do you know what I mean? If it invested, you know, and applied, so, you know, you can make the best of it. So I don't know. It's always kind of funny when people come out with things, you know, whether it's like they say that they trust you, whether it's say they're, you know, I'm always quite shocked when people give me compliments. I don't know why. I'm like, really? I never really saw that about myself. Really? You thought that? Shit. You know, but I think, again, jumping again, but going back to that lecture, I think being very careful about, like when he was talking about mental health when it comes to men as well, and like the biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide. And I was like, I've got to watch the way I am with the kid. I've got to make sure that it's always open, that I'm not like, oh, stop crying. Yeah, it's annoying after a while because he can speak and stuff, and it's like, Bubby, talk to me. Just talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. You know what I mean? And then I can try and make it better. You know, you're great with your words. Just talk to me. But then when he's crying, he's just like, oh, God's sake, please stop crying. Jesus. You know, but I've got to be really careful of that. You know, he's a third of my size. We'll call him whatever. I'm not good with fractures in the morning. And I'm just like, got to be aware of that. Got to think about that. And just, yeah, it's a really fucking weird time at the moment. I think we're going to be going to some serious shit in the next 20 years. I think if I do it right, this next thing could be a ting. Anyway, I'm kind of hoping that this Extinction Rebellion thing turns into something more, or is, or becomes, and I put my hand up to my own ignorance because I'm not fully informed in it at all. But I hope it becomes like a positive point of protest. Occupy London came and went. It's like, yeah, there was a load of tents like by St Paul's for a while, but I don't know other than that really had an impact other than the kind of like social phenomenon that it was within the centre of the city. I don't know how much of an impact that really had. But this is like, these are really important issues they're talking about, protesting against, wanting to be heard. So it's, it's really important that the legacy isn't, not the legacy, that the issues aren't sidestepped for the love of a good protest. Oh Christ, if it's one thing British people love, it's a good protest. Do you know what I mean? Everyone loves a good, like, getting up in arms underdog. British people love the underdog, which means they always love a good protest. Do you know what I mean? And just the fervour and everything with it and being part of something, it's intensely, intensely seductive. You know what I mean? To be politicised is be intensely seductive. So, yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens.